Rules of Procedure, abridged version. Hi there, I'm Kerry Rutherford, your Alberta representative on the Federal Council. I'm legally blind, so the sunglasses aren't just to look cool, it's also because I can't see you and I need to remind you that I can't see that. Thus, I'm listening to my notes, I won't be looking at them, and what I'm doing here is we are presenting a summary of the green rules of procedure that we'll be using in the middle of November for the special general meeting on co-leadership. There'll be some slight modifications. Maria Rodriguez is still working on those. She's cat hair. Anyway, in any event, I'll proceed. Introduction. The Green Party of Canada uses a consensus-seeking procedure. If possible, we work to make a motion acceptable to all participants, not a simple majority. We do not use Roberts or Bourinot's rules of order in order to make decisions. Instead, we Greens believe that each person involved in a decision has a piece of the truth. Therefore, Greens believe that amendments to motions strengthen it, as opposed to the traditional belief that they dilute the motion's strength. This does not mean that total agreement on everything is required. If a person is unhappy with a motion but is not sufficiently opposed to stop it from proceeding, that person may stand aside. This person's reasons for opposing the motion are noted for future reference. If a person is sufficiently opposed to a motion as it stands to stop it from proceeding, that person may block the motion providing that they are a member in good standing in the Green Party and the principle is consistent with the party's constitution and values. A blocked motion is either tabled, amended, referred to a committee for more work, or proceeds to a deciding vote. In a large plenary, colored cards may be used to indicate people's intentions toward a motion. However, this is not a large plenary. This is a special general meeting, which is happening mostly online. And also, as I mentioned, Maria Rodriguez is working on our green rules specific to this event. So I'll be mentioning motions and resolutions in here. But in fact, what we'll actually be doing is something where we're actually going to be deciding on a step within which there'll be options. Let's say there's 3 options. We will vote as a group on those options. Whichever one wins will then proceed to the next step. They may not be called steps. She may decide to call them something other than options. She's working on it literally today, but it's going to be tailor-made for this special general meeting on co-leadership. Should we proceed afterwards to the remaining motions that were left over from the earlier general meeting, then it would go back to being motions and resolutions. Onward. Some procedure definitions. By the way, Maria will be producing a much more detailed list of these green rules as I'm summarizing them, and that will be available in text version. You'll receive it by email, potentially with this video or shortly thereafter. If anyone has any objections to these abridged green rules as I'm going through them, please don't shoot the messenger. I'm literally on the website right now, our website. This is the abridged rules page, and I'm just going through them. So yes, some of the details will be slightly different, but again, Maria, we can rely on her. Some procedure definitions. Facilitator. This person has the similar role to the chairperson under Robert's Rules of Order. It is the facilitator's responsibility to moderate the discussion and the fate of the proposals. In the event of a tie vote, the facilitator does not have a deciding vote. Instead, the resolution is not passed. Co-facilitator. This person should be of the other gender than the facilitator and is responsible for keeping the speakers list and also taking the facilitator's role if the facilitator wishes to involve themselves in the discussion. The facilitators may not block or vote, as I already said. The recorder. This person is responsible for keeping records of all resolutions and amendments proposed, either passed or cancelled, along with some context. The recorder also reads the resolution whenever clarification or confirmation is requested. Timekeeper. This person is responsible for keeping track of how long the group spends on each topic and reminding the facilitator if a particular item is about to exceed or has exceeded its time limit. Speakers list. This can be two lists, one of women wishing to speak to an issue and one of men also wishing to speak to the issue. The facilitator alternates between these two lists when asking people to speak. A straw vote. This is not the same as a deciding vote, as a straw vote is not binding on a decision. Straw votes are sometimes used by a facilitator to make a determination of the will of the group on a particular idea or procedure. Standing aside. A person who abstains from a motion or does not object to a motion strong enough to stop it from passing may stand aside. Members who stand aside may request their reasons for standing aside to be recorded in the minutes. So, here's a summary of procedures. Number 1. A sponsor or the facilitator presents a motion on the floor for discussion. Number 2. The facilitator then asks for a moment of silence during which everyone considers the resolution and notes any points of information they have or need. Number 3. The facilitator then asks if anyone needs clarification of the resolution presented. Those clarifications are made either by the facilitator, the recorder, the resolution sponsor, or other people as appropriate. Number 4. Discussion then takes place until A. A consensus is reached, B. It becomes clear that no consensus can be reached, or C. It is agreed that the resolution is sent back to a work group or its sponsors for more work. Number 5. In the event there is no consensus, a straw vote is taken to determine support for A. Tabling the resolution, back in the file, B. Sending the resolution back for more work, or C. Going to a deciding vote. Number 6. If a deciding vote is taken, and if more than 2/3 or 66.6% are in favor of the motion carries. Only members in good standing may participate in a deciding vote. Number 7. Resolutions sent back for more work may be represented at a future plenary or meeting, such as the ones that we did not get to in the earlier AGM, which we may address if we are done this before the 2 days, if we finish the co-leadership question before the 2 days are over. That's why we have 2 days. We're hoping to have lots of time to finish the co-leadership question and perhaps address some of the others. As I said, Maria Rodriguez is producing a more detailed version of these green rules, which will have specific answers to questions that the more advanced in knowledge than I may have about these. Guess I'll see you in November. Cheers.